Hey guys, BBI here. I want to stop and say thanks for tuning in and checking out whatever the video is about that's about ready to come up next. If you could take a minute and hit subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you enjoy what you've seen here, make sure to hit the like button. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Anyhow guys, all that aside, let's get on with the show. Isn't that the coolest looking SB220 you've ever seen? I think it is. I bought this thing at a ham fest here this last weekend for the extensive purposes of getting the plate transformer out of it and the filament transformer out of it, and maybe the vacuum variable and some other little bits. But this has been a fun exercise for me today to make this amp run. It's got the lower end Harbach capacitor kit in it over here, and it's got a 3cx1000a7 tube in it. We're going to remember that, 3cx1000a7 tube. And what I thought was neat was all the roller counters that actually work. All this stuff works, indexable. I mean, I was just impressed. It's like, wow, somebody really loved the hell out of this thing. Let's go in here and take a look at these counters. All these inductor counters, all the counters actually work. This is your input tune with a 10-to-1 tuner or 10-to-1 counter on it. It's an air capacitor. This is your output tune, your input load, and then this is your roller inductor for your tank coil. Instead of having a multi-tap tank coil in it, this thing's got a roller inductor. Check that out. I was like, man, this thing is the shit. I couldn't help but hook this thing up and make it run. I spent most of my day on this, getting this thing to run. And it runs adequate. It needs more attention. I'm not interested in working all the little bugs out of this box. What I am interested in is demonstrating the viability of this tube. This very rare unobtainium tube. It's in a 9 out of 10 condition physically on the outside. Its output potential is full. But I've had a hell of a time getting this thing to work. First thing that I had to redo is the roll inductor, the roll inductor for the input tune. It was slipping on its journal, so I had to make its own set peg that goes down in here. I had to make one. I literally had to make one. Come to find out, the thread turn on that is a 632. So I took a 632 screw, cut it on a Dremel, then cut a flat blade notch in it so I could get it to grab on the roller inductor. This little tiny roller inductor is down in here. Somebody loved this very, 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 very much. And they put a ton of energy into it. This is our tuner out of an SB220. But this vacuum cap and its corresponding counter that goes with it is not out of an SB220. This is out of something else. Collins, Harris, some other piece of equipment. It's got an SB220 plate transformer in it. It utilizes the same low-high positions, as in like on. Instead of switches being over here, they're over here on, and it gives you an indicated light on, and this thing dims when you key the foot pedal. The metering circuit does not work. Like I said, we're not here for that. We're here for the tube. The parasitic was way wrong. This was our output coax. So it's all this beautiful craftsmanship on the top, and then on the bottom it's, we'll just say it's rough. So the input coax was this hollowed out SO239 connector with this B and C connector stuffed in its asshole, just like that. And then this whole mess, instead of this being soldered together in any way, shape, or form, was held together with JB Weld. It is what it is. It doesn't matter. I took this out, just took these off, got rid of them because there was too many little variables. I had an arcing issue that was taking place inside of here. I couldn't get a good ground on this. So I just replaced it with brand new PL259s. I went ahead and I replaced it. I'm going to file that in an F bucket. I went ahead and replaced all the input coax with 316 and used a little 1 foot length of RG400 and got it to where everything laid down perfectly. There was not enough capacitance on the Pi L circuit on the input side. Okay, so we had a roller inductor for inductance, and then we had an output variable capacitor, but nothing on the input. It might run just as froggy as a froggy can get down on something lower in bands, because God knows we got enough rolling inductors. See, this is the end of it here on the roller inductor, and here we are 3 coils in. We have all this extra roller inductor to go. And look at where we're at on the vacuum cap. It's almost completely uninterleaved. I bet this thing just runs like an animal down on 80. But for me to test it and show viability of the tube, I wanted to stick with something that I had a little bit more control of, which is the stuff up on 10 meters. So it did not come with a blower, so I kind of had to scab a blower on the back of it. There is a soup can that makes it, believe it or not, it came with a soup can. It was pre-equipped. A soup can is a coupler with a hose clamp and another flange mount that allows us to couple up to this blower that is actually big enough for a 3000. So technically it's a little bit too big of a blower. So I gotta be careful. I don't want to burn up the motor on the thing. So let's run around here real quick. We've got ourselves a 5-watt slug over here. And this is going to show our input reflect. 5-watt slug in reverse. Over here is a 1000-watt slug in peak, 1000 in average, and of course our 5-watt slug, as always, back from our bird, 10,000-watt dummy load. This is a neat little box. I got nothing but absolute mad respect for whoever built this little guy. They took a lot of time, put a lot of energy and effort into the top side construction of this amp. Bottom side's a little lacking, metering circuit was never completed. It's okay, I bought it as parts. I bought it as parts. And I was really impressed with the face of this thing. I was like, if even a third of this shit works, I've got to have it. I can't wait to build a 3000 or a 10,000 with these counters on the front. Very handy. I love these knobs. I know that these came off a piece of Collins equipment or something. They had to have. The meters are beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and they work. The problem is they're not connected to anything on the bottom that drives the meters. I don't want to complete that circuit. I don't. So let's show you what I'm going to put into it for drive. We're going to take our 2950 and the little bench 2-pill. Hello, audio. Hello, audio. Now, because my white balance is off a little bit, hello, audio. We're going to put about 200 watts in it. Now, I feel that there's about 500 watts that are lost in this box. Literally half a grand, just in some of the inefficiencies I've seen in some of the circuitry. But man, is this thing neat. Somebody spent an astronomical amount of time fabricating this amplifier up. I give credit, full-blown credit. This thing is amazing, okay? So don't get your shit twisted and thinking I'm coming down on this, because I'm not. I'm impressed. But what I bought it for was the plate transformer and a filament transformer alone. Okay, so we're going to put about 200 watts of drive. We just plugged into our blower. Now, the lights are going to start to flicker a little bit because the exhaust air coming off the blower is going to make our overhead LED start to blink a little bit. So let's come up off this thing just for a second. So now with 200 watts of drive, hell, let's start off with 20 watts in the radio. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. I even made our pass-through tune perfect. Hello. We're easily achieving over 400 watts of power. Let's turn on our little 2-pill. Hello. Hello. Oh, it's still a little hot. Hello. Hello. There's our 200 watts. Hello. Gone. Okay. You and I both knew that was going to happen. Now we'll go up to a 2x position. So full deflection on the watt meter is now 2,000 watts. The reason I believe there's still more to give it is because the tube's not even getting warm. Hello. Hello. That's easily over 2,000 watts of power. Hello. Now, hello. It's backing up, but I'm showing you over a 1,000 watt carrier. Hello. On a peak kit, we're still swinging forward. So let me back this down. Hello. That's a real mall dead key. I mean, we're not screwing around. Hello. That's from a 600 watt, 700 watt, 800 watt, 700 watt carrier. Hello. And we're running it off the end of the scale. I don't want to keep this tube. But after doing a new search on, or a little search on the inner boob, I know that this tube's going to very quickly go find a new home. These things are very common, and they're very hard to find. There's going to be a guy out there who's like, oh my God, I've been looking for one of them for, yeah. All right, let's turn our dead key down a little bit. Say about 400 watts. Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2. That's half a watt, by the way. Hello. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Going up to over, just a hair over a watt. Now I can sit here and I can futz around with this thing a little bit. Hello. Let's see if we can get this to drop. Like I said, it's a little twitchy. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 1 2 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Watt and a half worth of input reflect and over 2,000 watts out. This tube is perfectly viable. So, all that being said, I want to show you how quickly at this tube, I mean, it's not hot. Tube's at 85 degrees. So our transformer is hotter, our bleeders are hotter, the tube's ice cold. Ice cold. Now, leave the blower running. High voltage is off. Let me unplug it. I don't feel like dying today. Neutralize this. Please note how long I'm letting this sit there. We're leaving it shorted for a reason. Because that nasty effect of high voltage caps of wanting to crawl up in voltage again. So let's come in here. going to disconnect our high voltage lead. Remove our professional hose clamp from Home Depot. Let's go ahead and kill our blower. This is our tube. Manuel. Not even hot to the touch. It's a beautiful tube. 3cx1000a7, very rare. Fins are nice and pretty. Fins are nice and pretty. Base fins are all nice and very pretty. Base of the tube is nice and clean. I'm going to throw in with the tube the socket and the chimney and the box that it's in. Very important. It'll make building it or putting it into something else very, very easy. This is a beautiful 3cx1000a7 tube, fully functional, incredibly rare. I think it went about, I don't know. The last one to sell on eBay in this condition was $980. I don't want that. I think I'll be happy with around 650 bucks, and that includes the socket and the chimney. So let me know if you're interested. Meanwhile, this little amplifier is going to go on to help a bunch of other people. I think if we could get the plate voltage up a little bit higher than what, the 2900 volts that the SP220 is producing, the power supply from it, get it up closer to 30, 35, maybe 4,000 volts, this tube would really, really, really scream. It's got the anode on it of a 3cx1500, but the body basically of a 5cx1500B or D. Give me a call if you're interested in this beautiful little tube and its socket and its chimney. 650 bucks plus the ride. See you guys, I gotta run. I got a ton of things I gotta do. Oh, by the way, we've got an SP220 coming up for sale. We've got 3 Henrys coming up for sale here pretty quick. 3. And believe it or not, a Palomar 300A. A beautiful, pristine piece of sweep tube technology with great brand new tubes in it. It is what it is. You guys have fun. Enjoy yourselves. Bump bump from the biggest dock in Idaho. I'll see ya. Bye-bye.